Welcome to HirewithEve.ai podcast. HirewithEve.ai is an AI tool to pre-screen candidates and accurately identify their skills to help you cut down your hiring time by 90%. In this podcast series, we interview and have in-depth conversations with global HR leaders across industries and geographies to understand current HR trends, leadership challenges, workforce plannings, and many more interesting topics. So with that, let's dive into today's conversation.
All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. I'm Rahul Abhisek, the CEO and founder of HirewithEve. We are an AI company aiming to reduce hiring time by 90%. Today, we have a very special guest with us. It's a real pleasure to welcome Dr. Purushothaman. Dr. Purushothaman is a Chief Human Resource Officer at Precision Equipments, a Chennai-based company that designs and manufactures over 2,000 process equipment for oil and gas, petrochemical, fertilizer, and power industries, and currently generating a revenue of about $25 million. Dr. Purushothaman, it's a real pleasure to welcome you. It would be great if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your professional career.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, Rahul. I'm Dr. Purushothaman, and I work for a company called Precision Group. And Precision Equipment is one of the organization part of it. And we have other companies like Precision Mechanical Automotive Components, and KB Engineering is also one more organization which is part of it. Yeah. And here, with my experience, I carry around close to more than 3 decades of working experience in HR, and worked with varied industries, service industries, manufacturing, and IT industry, and so on. And so that's after my master's. I did my master's in social work. That is from DG Vaishnav, and went on doing my PhD also during 2019. And prior to that, I was working with Murugappa Group and with Alsec Technologies, and currently with Precision Group.
All right. Great. So, having decades of experience within the domain of HR, talking about the overall vision. So, what would you say after these decades of experience is your vision for the domain of HR within an organization and for business growth?
Okay. For the business growth, the vision of a HR should be more of a strategic partner. HR should play a role of a strategic partner. That's more important at this point of time. And here, what we are trying to talk about the strategic business partner is person should be able to understand the business, and HR should talk about the same language of operations and understand the overall end-to-end process so that you try to contribute to the business. And those days are gone where HR was only managing your payrolls and recruitments and so on. And now there are lots of changes which is happening in industry, and HR needs to be updated on technology front and should be able to add value to the business. That's more important.
Yeah, yeah. And then how do you personally then stay ahead of what is going on in the market within the domain in terms of the current trends? And then how do you ensure that you and your organization are then future ready?
Generally, what we personally, what I try to do is I try to do a lot of networks with our HR colleagues, and we also share lots of knowledges. And I also have associated with a couple of institute, and where I also try to deliver lectures and try to get the inputs from different industries, and also a member of a couple of HR forums like NASCOM, CII, and NHRD and ISTD. So this helps us to get lots of information, and which is more of international informations and what are the global scenarios. And we also try to get lots of information related to Indian organization, and this helps us to also work very closely with the business. And as an organization, what we try to do here differently is we also make sure that the employee also goes to the institute and share his knowledge so that we are able to get a right kind of resource what is really required for the future, and trying to prepare them and try to bridge the gap, and which we try to do it. And this is an way how we try to engage the employee and also engage the students and the community, and that's how we try to give back to the society also.
Okay, okay. And then, that is of course, great form of being up to date of what's going on in the market. But as you know, now we're living in unprecedented times. The economy is very much unpredictable. So, what is your thinking and approach to workforce planning?
Yep. Uh, there are lots of changes, and lots of things are unpredicted after the COVID, which has impacted us. And we need to be agile, first and foremost thing. And you try to plan you got to be really flexible, and your forecasting needs to be really planning in such a way that it suits the business needs. Yeah. And which is also talking about building your pipeline, which is really required for the current testing environment. And you will also would get an ad hoc projects based on the business needs, and the HR is expected to be as agile as possible. And you cannot go with your books and says that yes, this is not possible, but you got to be as swift as possible, as agile as possible, to make sure that you try to get along with the assigned organization and try to move on. So you need to be as agile as possible and try to work very closely with the assigned business. And hiring engine needs to be really fast. Otherwise, it's going to be really challenging to manage the entire function.
Yeah. And then, as we see that the role of HR is also evolving, and with the advent of technology in the recent times, AI, how are you leveraging AI and HR tech for employee experience and overall efficiency?
When you look at saying we have also implemented AI in some of the sync process,
I
to
see.
start with on the recruitment process, which also helps us to get in more number of sync resumes, and which also helps us to speed up the process. And because the current scenario, what we need to do is we need to just look at a right kind of resource. And if we need to look at AI or a manual format of doing an interview, it's going to be really difficult in current scenario. And the kind of
Yeah.
speed what we require and the kind of changes which is happening, AI is really a blessing for us on helping us in all the ways to make sure that we have the right kind of resource, and which also make sure that it also was saying bring in lots of value addition to the entire process. And we are able to go bit saying strongly with the business, and try to work with the business and try to make sure that the HR also can add value. So that is how we try to start talking to saying business on those language. And over and above, the AI also has helped us on the engagement of an employee in the organization. Yeah, just to know the pulse of an saying employee, and AI has helped us out a lot on understanding, and it also helps us to retain people in the organization. And because that helps to connect with the employee and understand the problem statement and trying to work with the employee. So that's the kind of solutions what AI has provided.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's very interesting. Can you share with us an example or an anecdote, for example, within the recruitment use case or process where AI is currently helping precision equipments?
One is on the AI platform. What we have done is we had a critical requirements which we were trying to work out, and where we wanted to. It's more of a niche skill. We wanted somebody with an international background and a domestic background of experience, and which was really a challenging. And when you look at it, AI was helping us to narrow down the resume, because we had lots of resumes which was poured in.
Okay.
And manually, if I going to be reviewing the resume, and it is going to be taking a couple of days for me to review the resume. And this has helped us to narrow down the funnel, and which helped us to reduce the overall timeline of reviewing the profile or validating the resume. And I was able to get a quality resume, which was helping the HR or the recruitment to connect with the candidate and trying to convert the candidate into an assigned successful resource.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. So now, talking about the HR leadership and the role that you have in the company, what would you say are some of the high level challenges that you come across and are currently working on solving?
One is, I would say that saying there was one of the saying point which I would like to talk to at this point of time. One of the challenging role or the project which I was managing when I was with Alsec Technologies. Attrition was one of the biggest challenge, like any other ITS industry or ITS industry, and we had to go through a Six Sigma a process,
Yeah.
and which was really appreciated by the assigned organization, and which was also awarded for one of the process, and which also helped us to make sure that we were able to find out the reasons for attrition and address the overall issues, and which was really appreciated by the management also on the entire process, and which we were able to bring down the attrition to an extent of close to not less than 3 to 4%. That's the biggest achievement what we did.
I see. I see. I see. Great. So as we come to the finishing line of our podcast, one final question is for a young audience who are going to be pursuing a career in HR. What is the advice that you would have for them?
My sincere advice to the young generation is to make sure that you got to be as innovative as possible. That is what is really required. And I would say that you need to be agile and try to adopt the situation and make sure that changes are inevitable. So you need to be a change agent as an HR. Don't resist to change. Make yourself as one of the change agents. So that is what I would expect or insist to the youngsters at this point of time.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. That's a great advice. So thank you so much, Dr. Purushothaman. It was great to have you on our podcast and listening to your insights and stories. We wish you the very best and have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you. Bye.